The sky above the planet Thalos 9 was dark and heavy. Thick clouds covered the dying sun. The air was filled with a strange smell, like burning metal and wet earth. The people of Thalos 9 knew their home was dying. Their great cities were cracking, and the machines that once made life easy were now failing. In the center of the last city, a small room flickered with weak light. A young technician named Jalen sat before an old console. His hands shook as he pressed buttons, trying to send a message into deep space. This was no ordinary message, it was a call for help. Jalen's heart pounded. He knew what would happen if someone heard the signal. The message was simple but desperate. Help us. Our world is dying. The emergency beacon flashed, sending waves of light into the dark sky. Outside, the city's elder, a tall figure, named Haran, stood watching the horizon. No one will come, Haran said softly to himself, eyes full of sadness. And if someone does, pray it's not the Deathworlders. Jalen looked up confused. Deathworlders? Who are they? Haran sighed. Humans. The ones who live on planets so deadly, only the strongest survive. We fear them. They are dangerous. But Jalen had no time to ask more. The signal had been sent. Now they could only wait. Far away in the cold emptiness of space, the signal traveled quickly. It crossed systems, jumping between stars. For weeks, no one answered. Then a ship appeared. It was not an alien ship, but a human ship. The UNS Claymore was on the edge of the Thalos 9 system when its sensors picked up the distress call. Captain. Riker stood on the bridge of the Claymore, his eyes scanning the blinking alert. He was a Deathworlder, a human born and raised on a planet full of dangers. His people were known as warriors and survivors. The galaxy whispered stories of their harsh homeworlds, but no one knew the truth. Riker smiled. They called us. Finally, the crew moved quickly. Orders were given, engines powered up, and the Claymore began its slow approach to the dying planet. Back on Thalos 9, news spread fast. The people who once thought they would die alone now saw a ship coming from the stars. Fear mixed with hope. Lyra, a scientist and leader among the survivors, watched the ship with wide eyes. Why are they coming? We never asked for the Deathworlders. Haran nodded gravely. Because no one else will help us. As the Claymore entered the planet's atmosphere, the survivors prepared. The ground shook under the ship's heavy weight. Dust rose in great clouds. The air grew hotter and thicker. The humans moved with purpose. Their suits were dark, but unlike the others, they did not cover themselves fully. Their faces were hard, and their eyes sharp. One of the humans, Sergeant Milla, led the team. She spoke calmly. Keep your eyes open. This planet is unstable. We don't have much time. Jalen followed from a distance, watching the humans work. He saw them handle falling debris, dodge acid rain, and cross dangerous cracks in the ground, without fear. They are different, he whispered. Stronger, faster. Suddenly, an explosion shook the city. A reactor core was about to fail. People screamed and ran. The sky burned bright with fire. Milla's voice came over the comms. We're going in. Someone is trapped near the core. We won't leave them behind. Lyra's heart raced. They risk everything for us? The humans did not hesitate. They ran toward the danger, breaking through barriers that the local rescue teams could not. The ground cracked beneath their feet, but they kept moving. Sergeant Milla reached the trapped child just in time, pulling her to safety seconds before the explosion rocked the area. The survivors cheered. For the first time, they saw hope, but not all were happy. From the shadows, a group of alien soldiers watched. They whispered to each other. These Deathworlders, they bring something else. Something dangerous. Haran looked at the humans with a mixture of awe and fear. We needed help. But what have we truly called? As the humans set up their base, strange devices began to glow. Machines hummed with unknown power. Lyra studied them closely. They have technology unlike anything we've seen, she said. This could save us or destroy us. Captain Riker stood watching the planet below. "We came to help," he said quietly. "But this is only the beginning." The signal had been answered. The galaxy was watching, and the story of the Deathworlders was about to change forever. The human ship UNS Claymore hovered silently above the broken surface of Thalos 9. Its dark hull was covered in scratches and marks, signs of many battles fought in unknown places. Inside, Captain Riker stood at the command console, his eyes sharp and alert. Around him, the crew moved with quiet purpose, preparing for the next steps. Outside, the planet's sky burned red with the fires of destruction, but the humans seemed almost calm. To the aliens watching, this was strange. Why would humans come all this way and into a place so dangerous, so full of death, without orders, without asking permission? Far below, on a rocky ridge, an alien scout named Velis watched the humans from a hidden cave. His species was small and quick, with pale skin and glowing blue eyes. He was part of the Theloni resistance, trying to survive long enough to see their world healed. "They came," Velis whispered to his companion's voice trembling. "The humans came. I never thought I would see this." But others were not so sure. The Confederacy Council, a group of powerful alien leaders, had sent secret messages to their agents across the galaxy. "Do not allow the Deathworlders to interfere. They bring chaos." Velis felt fear mixed with hope. Why did they come? What do they want? In the command room of the Claymore, Captain Riker received a sharp message from an unknown source. It was a warning. "Turn back. You have no right here. Leave the system now." Riker's eyes narrowed. "No," he said. "We came because they called us. We do not leave those who need help." His first officer, Lieutenant Mara, shook her head. "Captain, the galaxy fears us. We are the Deathworlders. They say we are monsters from the dead planets. They don't understand us." Riker turned slowly. "Then it's time they learn." The story of humans being called Deathworlders was well known, but few knew why. It was said that humans came from a planet so harsh, so deadly, that only the strongest survived. Their world had storms that burned like fire, animals that could kill with one bite, and diseases that destroyed entire cities. To survive, humans became tough, fearless, and sometimes ruthless. Now Riker's crew was ready to prove that the stories were only half true. Back on Thalos 9, Lyra walked carefully through the ruins. She was a scientist, trying to understand the changes humans were bringing. She had seen the humans walk through acid rain without flinching, carry heavy debris without rest, and fight through dangers others would run from. "They are not just here to help," she told Haran quietly. "They want to change this world." Haran's face was serious. "We need help, Lyra, even if it comes from the Deathworlders." Suddenly, a loud explosion shook the city. From the horizon, 3 large ships appeared, moving fast and ready to attack. "They are coming!" shouted a guard. The Confederacy warships. The alien survivors looked at each other in fear. The Confederacy did not want humans involved. They wanted Thalos 9 to die quietly, with no witnesses. On the Claymore, Riker received the news. His face hardened. "They want to finish what they started," he said. "We won't let them." The crew prepared weapons and shields. The humans were ready for a fight. Velis, the scout, watched as humans moved quickly to set up defenses. "They do not fear war," he said. "They live for it." The first shots were fired from the Confederacy ships and the battle began. But the humans had technology no one expected. Their weapons could disable ships without destroying them. Their shields absorbed damage like water softens a stone's blow. Riker's voice rang through the command deck. "Hold your ground. Protect this world." Back on the ground, Lyra saw human engineers using strange machines to repair buildings and clean the air. The humans had brought tools that worked faster than anything the Theloni had ever seen. They are not just soldiers, she realized. They are builders too. But even as hope grew, questions remained. Why had humans come so far? What was their real purpose? That night, under the red sky, Riker stood outside the Claymore. He looked at the stars and thought about Earth, the human homeworld far away. "We are here because it's the right thing to do," he whispered. "Not for glory, not for power." Suddenly, his communicator beeped. A message from Earth's High Command. "Captain Riker," the voice said. "Your mission is clear. Rescue those who call for help. But be ready. The galaxy watches, and not all will welcome you." Riker clenched his fists. Understood. Far above Thalos 9, the galaxy was changing. The arrival of the Deathworlders had begun a new chapter, one full of hope, danger, and mystery. And for the people of Thalos 9, the question was no longer, will help come? But what will the Deathworlders bring with it? The fires of Thalos 9 still burned bright in the distance, but on the ground, a tense silence fell over the survivors. The humans from the UNS Claymore had saved many lives, but their presence brought a new kind of fear. Captain Riker stood near the damaged city square, talking to Lyra and Haran. His face was calm, but his eyes were serious. "We didn't come here to fight a war," he said quietly. "We came to help you survive." Haran looked at him with tired eyes. "Then why do your weapons scare us so much?" Riker sighed. "Because they are strong. Because we are strong. We come from worlds where weakness means death." Lyra stepped forward. "Your help is real, but some of us worry. What will happen after the fighting? What will you take from us?" Riker's jaw tightened. "Nothing more than you're willing to give. But you must understand. Survival has a price." That night around a fire, the survivors whispered among themselves. Some were grateful, others were afraid. The humans were different, stronger, braver, but also strangers. What did they want in return for their help? Jalen, the young technician, sat quietly, thinking. He had watched the humans closely. They risked their lives for strangers. But why? Suddenly, a loud alarm sounded from the human base. Milla, the sergeant, rushed to her team. "Enemy ships detected, they're coming back." The survivors scrambled to prepare for another attack. This time, the Confederacy ships were closer and more powerful. In the command room of the Claymore, Riker stared at the blinking red lights. "They want to stop us. They want to control this planet." Mara looked worried. "Captain, their fleet is growing. We can't hold them off forever." Riker's voice was firm. "Then we fight smarter." Back on the ground, the humans helped the survivors build defenses. They showed them how to use new technology, force shields, energy weapons, and repair drones. Lyra was amazed. "Your technology could save us all, but can we trust you?" Riker looked at her. "Trust must be earned, but we don't have much time." The next day, a strange thing happened. The humans discovered a hidden cave beneath the city. Inside were old ruins and signs of an ancient civilization. The walls were covered with strange symbols. Jalen touched the symbols carefully. "These could explain why our planet is dying. Maybe the answer lies here." Riker sent a team to study the ruins. As they worked, a new message arrived from Earth. "Captain Riker," the message said, "your mission is changing. You must secure Thalos 9 for future colonization. The galaxy needs new homes." Riker's face darkened. This was more than rescue. It was a plan to take the planet. He gathered his crew. "We came to save lives, but now we must protect this world, even from those who sent us." The survivors did not know what to believe. Were the humans their saviors or their conquerors? That night, under the red sky, Jalen looked at the stars. The price of rescue might be more than we can pay. The red sky of Thalos 9 glowed dimly as the humans and survivors gathered around the temporary camp. The night was quiet, but the air was heavy with fear and uncertainty. Captain Riker sat apart from the others, his thoughts heavy. The new orders from Earth had changed everything. This was no longer just a rescue mission. Now, it was about control, about colonization. He wondered how much the survivors would trust him if they knew. Lyra approached quietly. "Captain, the survivors don't know your real orders. They believe you came only to help." Riker looked up, tired. I want to protect them, but I also must follow my orders. Lyra shook her head. But what if those orders hurt them? What if they see you as an invader? Before Riker could answer, a sudden noise came from the edge of the camp. Guards rushed to the dark tree line. A group of cloaked figures emerged slowly. Unknown aliens. Velas stepped forward, raising his hands. We come with a warning. The camp fell silent. Velas's voice was low and serious. The Confederacy has many spies here. They want to divide you. Do not trust anyone easily. Riker stood, facing Velas. Then we must work together. We want to protect this world, and its people. A survivor named Harren spoke up, his voice rough. You say you want to help, but your weapons and orders tell another story. Riker met Harren's gaze. I understand your fear, but if we fight among ourselves, the Confederacy wins. The tension grew thick. The survivors wanted peace, but they were afraid the humans would take over. That night, Riker met with Mara in the command room. We must be careful. If the survivors lose trust, we lose everything. Mara nodded. But hiding the truth may be worse. Meanwhile, Jalen and Lyra explored the ancient ruins deeper. The symbols told stories of a powerful force once sealed beneath the planet, a force that could destroy or save the world. Jalen touched a glowing stone. If we can unlock this power, maybe we can stop the war and save Thalos 9 without fighting. Lyra agreed. But it is dangerous. We don't know what might happen. Suddenly, alarms sounded again, this time from inside the camp. Someone had tried to sabotage the human weapons. Riker and the guards rushed out. They caught a young survivor named Kira trying to disable a shield generator. Why? Riker asked, breathing hard. Kira looked scared but determined. Because I don't trust you. I've seen what the Confederacy does. I won't let another enemy take our home, even if it's you. Riker lowered his weapon. I want to protect you all, but this will only bring more danger. The camp was divided. Some believed in the humans, others did not. Velas whispered to Lyra, this planet's future depends on whether you can build trust, or if fear destroys you all. As the sun began to rise, Captain Riker made a decision. He would be honest. With the survivors, no more secrets, he called a meeting. We came because we heard your call for help, he said. But I must tell you the truth. Earth wants this planet. Our mission is now to secure it for humanity's future. But I promise, I will protect this world's people as long as I live. The survivors listened in silence. Some felt anger, others relief. Harren stood up. If you want to be our protectors, prove it. Help us unlock the secrets of these ruins. Help us save this world together. Riker nodded. We will try. But the Confederacy will not stop. They will come again. The real battle was only beginning. A battle not just of weapons, but of trust, hope, and the future of Thalos 9. The day broke slowly over Thalos 9, painting the sky with dull orange and pink shades. But the peaceful colors did not match the tension inside the human camp. Captain Riker, Lyra, Jalen, and a small team of survivors prepared to enter the ancient ruins. They believed the power hidden there could change everything, maybe even stop the war that threatened their world. Be careful, Riker warned. We don't know what lies ahead. The group moved down a narrow tunnel lit by flickering lights from their helmets. The air was thick and smelled like old stone and dust. Every step echoed in the silence. Suddenly, the walls began to glow softly. Strange symbols shone with a blue light pulsing like a heartbeat. Jalen stepped forward, his hand reaching out. This is more than writing. It's like a message or a warning. Lyra studied the glowing symbols. They speak of a power deep inside the planet, a force that can heal or destroy, depending on who controls it. As they moved deeper, the ground began to shake. A low rumble grew louder and louder. What's happening? Asked one of the survivors, fear in her voice. Riker's face was grim. I think we woke something up. Suddenly the walls cracked, open, revealing a large chamber filled with strange machines and glowing crystals. In the center was a giant crystal, shining with light stronger than the sun. Jalen approached carefully. This must be the source. Lyra looked around, eyes wide. We have to be very careful. This energy is powerful, but unstable. Riker turned to his team. We must control it, or it will control us. Just then, alarm sounded from the human camp. The Confederacy fleet was launching a massive attack. The battle for Thalos 9 was about to explode again. Back at the camp, Mara prepared the defenses. They want to destroy the ruins and the crystal. If they succeed, everything is lost. Riker nodded. We cannot let that happen. Inside the chamber, Jalen connected the ancient machines to human scanners. The crystal pulsed with energy, filling the room with warmth and light. Suddenly, a voice echoed in their minds, soft but clear. Who awakens the heart of Thalos? Everyone froze. The voice was not human or alien, but something else, something ancient. Lyra whispered, "It's alive." Riker stepped forward. We seek to save this world, to stop the fighting and protect its people. The voice answered slowly, "The power you seek is great, but it demands sacrifice." Jalen asked what kind of sacrifice. The light from the crystal grew brighter. The chamber trembled. Shadows moved on the walls. The power requires a guardian, one who will give their life to protect the planet. Only then will the heart release its strength. Riker looked at his crew. He understood the meaning. Someone had to stay behind. Someone had to become the guardian. The others looked back at him. No one wanted to speak. Suddenly the chamber shook violently. Rocks fell, blocking the tunnel behind them. "We're trapped," shouted one of the survivors. Riker drew his weapon. "We must decide on fight the Confederacy outside or unlock the power here." Lyra looked at the crystal. If the power awakens fully, it could end this war, but it's a risk. Jalen nodded. "I want to stay and help control the heart. It's the only way." Riker put a hand on Jalen's shoulder. "It's dangerous." Jalen smiled faintly. "I've never been afraid." Outside, the battle raged. Explosions shook the ground. The survivors fought fiercely to hold the line. Inside the chamber, Jalen and Lyra worked quickly. The crystal's light wrapped around Jalen, filling him with energy. The voice spoke one last time. Guardian accepted. Jalen's body glowed, and the crystal's power spread through the ruins. Back outside, the fighting stopped suddenly. The enemy ships turned away as if something invisible forced them to retreat. Lyra ran to the blocked tunnel and shouted, "Jalen, are you okay?" No answer. Riker looked to the sky. The heart of Thalos has awakened, but the price was high. The survivors gathered around the campfire that night. They remembered the brave young man who had stayed behind. Velis whispered, "Maybe now this world has a chance." Lyra stared at the stars, tears in her eyes. "We saved Thalos 9, but we lost one of our own." Captain Riker stood tall. "This is only the beginning. The galaxy will never be the same." The calm after the battle felt strange. The survivors in the camp tried to rest, but none could forget the loss of Jalen, the young technician who had become the guardian of the heart of Thalos. Captain Riker walked quietly among the survivors, his face hard but thoughtful. The ancient power had stopped the Confederacy's attack, but now a new threat grew, one much closer to them. Inside the UNS Claymore, Riker met with Mara and the senior officers. "We have a problem," he said. "I just received a message from Earth." "Command." Mara frowned. "What kind of problem?" Riker's voice was low. "There are whispers of a secret faction within our own fleet. They want to use Thalos 9's power for war, not peace." The room fell silent. "We came to save this world," Riker continued. "But now some of our own may betray that mission." Mara's eyes narrowed. "We must find the traitors before they do damage." Meanwhile, on the ground, Lyra and Velis talked late into the night. "The humans saved us, but can we trust all of them? Velis asked. Lyra shook her head. Not everyone. The power in those ruins changes people. Some see it as a weapon. Suddenly, a loud explosion shook the camp. Alarms blared everywhere. Riker rushed outside. What's happening? Soldiers shouted. Sabotage! The power core is destabilizing. Mara ran to the control panel. Someone's trying to destroy the heart of Thalos. Riker's eyes burned with anger. Find the traitor. Now! Lyra joined the soldiers searching the camp. She spotted a shadow moving quickly near the fuel tanks. Stop! She shouted, chasing the figure. The shadow turned. It was a human officer, Lieutenant Koran. Why? Lyra demanded. Why betray us? Koran sneered. This power is too dangerous. Earth wants control, but I want freedom. The Confederacy promised me better rewards. Lyra grabbed him. You're a traitor. You will pay. Koran struggled, but the guards took him away. You haven't seen the last of me, he spat. Back on the ship, Riker gathered his officers. This betrayal proves we must be stronger. The Confederacy will use anything to win. Mara added, we must unite the survivors and humans. Only together can we protect Thalos 9. The next day, Riker met with the survivor leaders. We face danger from outside and inside. Trust is our only weapon. Haran nodded slowly. We will stand with you, but no more secrets. Lyra spoke up. And we must learn to control the heart's power. Jalen gave his life, but his sacrifice is not the end. Suddenly, the communications officer announced, Captain, a new message from Earth Command. Riker took the comm. The voice was cold and firm. Captain Riker, you have exceeded your orders. Return the survivors and the heart of Thalos to Earth immediately. The Council demands it. Riker's hand tightened on the console. This mission is not over. Thalos 9 is not a prize. The voice replied, you will obey. This is an order. Riker switched off the comm, eyes burning. We're on our own. That night, as the stars shone over the quiet camp, Lyra stood by the ruins. The crystal pulsed softly. Jalen, she whispered, we won't let your sacrifice be for nothing. But, far above in the dark space beyond Thalos 9, enemy ships gathered again. The war for the planet was far from over, and betrayal lurked in every shadow. The quiet before the storm was heavy. On Thalos 9, the survivors and humans prepared for the battle they knew was coming. The Confederacy's fleet was larger than before, and their intentions deadly. Captain Riker stood on the hill overlooking the camp. His eyes scanned the sky. This will be our last chance, he said to Mara and Lyra. If we lose, Thalos 9 is lost forever. Mara tightened her grip on her rifle. We won't let that happen. We fight not just for this world, but for the future. Lyra looked at the glowing ruins in the distance. The heart of Thalos pulsed with power, like a living thing ready to protect its home. Suddenly, a scout ship appeared on the horizon. Enemy fleet incoming, the lookout warned. The camp buzzed with activity. Soldiers took their positions. Survivors hid in shelters and children clung to their parents. Riker turned to his team. Remember, this fight is for trust, for every life here. We stand together. The Confederacy ships advanced, dark shapes blotting out the stars. Their weapons began firing, lighting up the sky with deadly bursts. Explosions rocked the ground. The camp's shields held, but just barely. Inside the ruins, Lyra felt the crystal's power growing stronger. She reached out her hand, feeling energy pulse through her veins. We must use the heart, she told Riker over comms. It can protect the camp, but it needs a strong will. Riker nodded. Do what you can, we'll hold the line. As the battle raged, a sudden blast hit the command center. Mara shouted, they're breaking through the defenses. Riker fought alongside his soldiers, pushing back wave after wave of enemies. Then, in the chaos, a figure appeared at the edge of the battlefield. Lieutenant Koran, the traitor, now fighting with the Confederacy. Riker faced him, anger burning. You betrayed us once, you won't do it again. Koran laughed coldly. This planet belongs to the strongest. I'm just doing what I must. They fought fiercely, but Riker's determination was stronger. He forced Corrin to retreat. Meanwhile, Lyra focused all her energy on the heart. The crystal glowed brighter, sending waves of light across the camp. The shields grew stronger. The weapons of the Confederacy faltered. Suddenly the ground trembled. The heart was awakening fully. The enemy fleet began to retreat, unable to face the power protecting the planet. The survivors cheered, but Riker knew this victory came with a price. The crystal's light dimmed and Lyra collapsed, exhausted but smiling. Riker rushed to her side. "You did it," Lyra nodded weakly. Jalen's sacrifice wasn't in vain. As dawn broke over, Thalos 9, the survivors and humans stood together, tired but hopeful. Velis approached Riker. "This world has a new future, thanks to all of you." Riker looked at the sky, thinking of the battles ahead. The galaxy will hear the story of Thalos 9, of trust, sacrifice, and the strength of many. The war was not over, but for now the call for help had been answered, and answered well. The sun rose slowly over Thalos 9. After the fierce battle, the planet was quiet, but not broken. Captain Riker stood at the edge of the camp, watching the survivors and humans work together to rebuild. The air was filled with hope, but also sadness for those they had lost. Lyra sat beside the glowing ruins of the heart of Thalos. Though weak, she felt the power still alive beneath her fingertips. The crystal had changed them all, forever. "We have a chance now," she said softly. "A chance to make this world better." Riker nodded. "But peace is fragile. We must stay strong." Mara approached with a report. "The Confederacy has pulled back for now. They know we have power they cannot fight." Riker clenched his fists. "They will return. We need to be ready." Velis, the survivor leader, joined them. "You saved us. The Deathworlders will always remember that." Lyra smiled. "It's not just about saving lives, it's about trust. We have learned to trust each other." At the camp's center, children played among the ruins, their laughter a healing sound after so much pain. But the galaxy beyond was still watching. On a distant command ship, a high-ranking officer stared at the reports from Thalos 9. "This power is too great to ignore," he said. "Prepare the fleet. We will take what we need." Back on Thalos 9, Riker gathered his team. "The war is not over," he said. "But we have shown what we can do when we stand together." Lyra looked at the stars. The heart of Thalos is not just a weapon. It's a reminder that life can grow, even in the darkest places. As night fell, the survivors and humans lit fires across the camp. They shared stories, tears, and laughter. Jalen's sacrifice had opened a new path, a path of hope, courage, and unity. Riker raised a glass in a quiet toast. "To those who fight for peace. To those who answer the call for help, no matter who they are." The stars shone brightly above Thalos 9, promising a future shaped not by fear, but by trust. And so, the story of the Deathworlders and their human allies became a legend, a story of strength born from hardship and hope that could never be silenced.